Ahoy, wenches and wayfarers. My name is Ryder, and I am the author of the Chronicles of the Deception series. Book number 1, The Deception of the Black Rose, is due out this summer, 2025. So, if you have been following my Facebook page, you know that every Saturday is Scholarly Saturday, and today we're going to do something a little different. We are going to do math! Yay! Yay! I'm sure you guys are so psyched to do math. I'm going to be real with you. I am not a math person. I am through and through a language person. Obviously, I wrote a book, but not only did I write a book, I wrote a book about numerous multilingual people. So, hashtag polyglot problems. So I am a big fan of words. I am not so great with numbers. So it was very important for me as I was writing this book to not only make it historically accurate, but make it as close to realistic as I could manage. And one of the things that was important to me was making sure that I understood how long it actually took to sail around the Caribbean to the different places that the Black Rose and her crew would be visiting. So I found this wonderful, wonderful site, CalcMaps, and I'm going to drop the link in the doodly-doo. And this is a really fun site, guys. So I'm going to show you how I did this. Just to sort of give an insight into the sort of research that I had to do in order for this book to be as accurate as possible for the time. So let's zoom in on, we're going to start in Jamaica because that is where our hero Ben is from. So unfortunately this site, you have to drag it with a right click. So unfortunately what that means is that the right click menu is also going to pop up. So that's inconvenient, but that is the price that we pay for free, I guess, huh? So Ben is from Kingston, so we're going to go ahead and drop a pin in Kingston. Now, as you can see at the top, we suddenly have a series of measurements listed. So they are going to offer us meters, kilometers, miles, feet, yards, and nautical miles. So nautical miles is going to be the one that we are going to focus on. So last week for Scholarly Saturday, I showed you guys my beloved pizza kite, the chip log that they would use to determine their speed. So that sort of feeds into what we're doing today, because we are going to focus on our nautical miles. And if we remember that a nautical mile is equal to 1 knot, so 1 knot is 1 nautical mile per hour, then that is going to sort of help us figure out how long it will take them to go a certain distance, okay? So when we first meet Ben, he is about 2 days out from going home to Kingston. So I will tell you that not only did ships in the 1700s travel about 3 to 4 knots on average, so that would have been 3 to 4 nautical miles on average per hour. So that meant that you were probably topping out at about maybe 100 nautical miles a day, if you were really lucky and it was toward the higher end of 4 knots to like 4 to 5 knots. Okay, so we're not talking about going super far within 2 days. So not only that, we can't just make a straight line out here towards the Cayman Islands because that would be covering land. So we actually have to come down a little bit around these peninsulas. So we'll say there. Okay. And then we'll put a pin, for the sake of argument, we'll say right about there. Okay. So as you can see, if we're saying that the Deception intercepted the Starling, the ship that Ben was on, somewhere between the Cayman Islands and Jamaica, it would be about 198 nautical miles, so about 2 days, give or take. But for the sake of argument, let's actually pull up the calculator and show what that's going to be. So if we're going to say 198 nautical miles divided by 4 knots. All right, so little over 48 hours to get from this area back to Kingston. Okay, so that's as good a spot as any. Okay, so this would have been, let's scroll out a little bit so you can see. So this little area would have been a 2-day journey. Okay, so this is where we're going to clear the points. We're going to start somewhere here between the Cayman Islands and Jamaica. That's going to be our first point. So once the Deception has picked Ben up, they are going to go toward their next port of call is in Campeche, which is over here in Mexico. So once again, can't just draw myself a straight line from this area over here, because then you're going to be cutting through the entire Yucatan Peninsula, and we don't want to do that. So we are going to actually have to plot a course. So we're going to have to go around the Cayman Islands, past Cuba, and around the Yucatan, and into Campeche. Okay, so our course, so it says it's about 814 nautical miles, right? So if we pull up our calculator again, which for some reason I decided that I needed to X that out, but if we pull up our calculator again, so 814 divided by 4 knots or so, that's going to be 203.5 hours. If you can do that math in your head, good for you. I am not one of those people, so I actually need to divide that by 24. All right, so it's going to be about 8.5 days. So in the story, as we're going, it actually is going to be a little faster than that. And so we are going to also take the opportunity to have to drop anchor for something. I cannot wait for you guys to read that section. You guys are going to love it, I think. But we are going to drop anchor for something, and it's going to be very, very interesting. So that is basically how I determined my timeline for this book and book 2, which is already written. So I do also want to mention that the Deception, the Black Rose's flagship, is the only ship in her fleet that is going to be sailing all the way around the Caribbean and capturing other vessels. All of the other ships in her fleet have a very set route that they follow, and they're basically going to be transporting different goods between the different colonies. So from an English colony to a French colony to a Spanish colony to a Dutch colony back to the English colony. But like I said, I will drop this link in the doodly-doo so you can play with it as well. They have an elevation map that's really fun. And I really enjoy playing with this. But yeah, thank you for joining me for Scholarly Saturday and doing math. Also, drop in the comments what sorts of videos you guys would like me to make, if you would like me to keep making them. And just, keep wishing on stars and keep sailing forward. Bye!